We're back, episode 11.
We're going to get real controversial real quick. Or at least I think we are.
Yeah, we definitely are. The first thing we want to talk about, and this is very business oriented on this one, what is the mistake people make the most when pitching, in your opinion?
In my opinion.
And then I'll give my
obviously,
take.
I don't hear all the pitching that goes on. I just hear after the fact things. I think it's saying the phrase or using some version of the phrase, what can I do to earn your business?
Oh, wow. Okay. You know what I said to somebody the other day?
What can I do to earn your business?
No, I didn't say that. What I said was, is there any reason why you wouldn't sign with me right now?
It's a bold statement, and I don't.
They were like, no, I guess not. I was like, okay, let's do this.
So I like your version.
It's a rephrasing of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I've said the phrase, what can I do to earn your business? Or what can...
You know what it's like? Please.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Please sign with me. I need this.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel icky every time I say it or have said it in the past. And I don't say it anymore. It doesn't... I don't think it works. I think, let's say, over the course of my selling career, I've said it 15 times, let's say, throughout all the years, right? I bet you only one, maybe two signed with me in the end. The percentage is so low. It's not a worthwhile statement. Yet you think it will be because you think people are going to be honest with you. But in reality, it is a plea to show you're desperate for the signature and for the next job.
Yeah. Don't people always want you more when you don't need them? It's girls, right? Like, whatever.
The truth of the matter is, if you rephrase it to be what you said, is there any reason why we can't work today together?
Yeah.
You're putting a very strong presence out there.
It's just like checking them.
Yeah.
Like instead of I put the ball in your court, it's like, no, I'm checking the ball to you. You got to pass it back right now.
Yeah. Like there's something just a little more definitive there.
Yeah.
Even then, what you said, it still probably isn't going to have like a remarkably high success rate, but it's probably going to be a higher success rate than what can I do to earn your business today?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't sign on it, but the guy immediately after that texted me. He's like, I want to set up a meeting where I can come in and see the studio and bring my partner.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I was like, that's like a informal handshake.
It's a soft yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So exactly. There's something there, but yeah, I think that's the number one thing that I
What's your top five? Quick top five. No explanation.
Of what? Top five?
Mistakes when pitching. I wrote mine down, so I kind of beat you to the punch.
Thank you. Yeah. The controversy.
Always be prepared, number one.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like coming onto these things.
Your producer sends it to you last minute.
Yeah. No, I get these last minute. That is, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think any semblance of desperation, which is what I just said, right?
Yep. Two? What's two?
Showcasing your numbers too early in the negotiations.
That's not on mine. Like that. Three? Top five. Hall of Fame worst pitching mistakes.
Not having a reference ready and available.
Okay. Yes. Man, also not on mine. That's why you close the deals.
Not being prepared for not being prepared with a follow-up meeting or a call or some semblance of a follow-up. Either sometime in the call, you need to be prepared to ask for a follow-up. Or
in the call.
Or at the end of the call, email for a follow-up. Or the next day when you send the proposal, ask for a follow-up. There needs to be a follow-up stage.
Interesting.
A tangible, like you're going to do this. And whatever works for you, right? Like the way I do it is not necessarily going to be the same way you do it, but there needs to be some semblance of a follow-up stage. Because, trying Try not to over-explain because you told me to
Was
do
that
this
5?
quick. No, that's
I feel
4.
like it was 4.
That's 4.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5, dog. Come
God,
on.
man, number 5. One of yours.
All right, mine. Top
What
5.
I don't know. I don't have a 5th right now.
Lack of research and personalization.
Okay.
Overcomplication and clarity.
Okay.
Ignoring the competition. Neglecting the story. 2 stories, media, dog. And emphasizing the product features over the benefits. No one cares about the product. They care what it'll do for them. That's my top 5. Now, am I the deal closer here? No. Can I put some stuff together? Yeah, I can. I'm Shaq. You're Kobe. I give you the alley-oop, but that's my top 5. I was like talking to my buddy Eduardo, and I was telling him like, hey, we've got this meeting. You need to take like 10 minutes ahead of the meeting to prepare. Like, just read over the contract, read the proposal, read the line items. If that's all you do, great. But if you don't do that, you're at the very worst coming unprepared. Like, you need to have some semblance of information. And it's not like me telling you, because I could tell you something all day long and it could just go straight over your head. I was like, you need to read this and prepare yourself. Like, just take 10 minutes. And then he did. And then his engagement in the conversation was like high value.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's not just saying what he thinks. He's saying what is on paper for them to know. Like, perfect. And then my other big thing of it is like overcomplicating things. To me, the simpler, the better. It's like when you go to a restaurant and they've got the giant menu. You're like, oh, man. I'm just asked the waitress, what's good? What's good, waiter?
You have done that.
Just tell me what's
so
good.
many times.
I don't need to see this
So
gigantic menu.
Yeah. I'll take the don't overcomplicate it as my 5th, because out of everything that you said there, I wholeheartedly agree with that one, the most of the 5.
Yeah.
So I'll take that as my 5th.
Interesting. So then, what was the topic that we wanted to go into?
Oh, you wanted to, from there, you wanted to go straight to...
Because this is like the setup. This is the Shaq and Kobe moment.
That was the pitching.
And this is where I need you to dunk on them.
What does it take to close a deal?
Yes. Yes. Everybody knows I've been begging you to put a camera on you so we can really say what it takes to close a deal.
Yeah, you have.
But tell us. Now you got to tell us. We're live.
Yeah, you've...
I'm like, what will it take to do business with you, Kevin? Let me put a camera on you.
Don't be desperate, Dylan.
Yeah, for real.
What does it take to close a deal?
Come on, tell us. You can't give us dead air. What does it take? Give us the sauce. What is it?
I think it's more than one thing. That's the thing.
Okay.
So what immediately comes to mind
Yes.
is personalization. You have to be able to connect with the person in some capacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you connecting with them via sports, via love for the product, via an understanding of what the product or service legitimately does? Are you connecting with them because of family values or love for cars?
Yeah.
Connect with them.
Just on their interests. Like
Connect with the person. It does. I mean,
commonalities.
there's got to be something.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because my mom told me once years ago that she's not surprised that I am a business owner and I talk to people all the time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Mom, why? Like,
Rose-colored glasses. Mom.
I
Give us a reason.
don't consider myself an extrovert by any means.
I mean, I wouldn't consider you an introvert though.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
She goes, because throughout your entire life, you've always been able to make friends with damn near everybody that you come across.
Okay.
And I think back at my childhood and high school and college years, and I'm like,
Cry.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, right. And there's only one tier, 2 tiers, whatever. 2 tiers media. Um, I've always had friends, like just vast array of friends, right? And like all these different social circles and networks and people that just never overlap, but I overlap with them, right?
Yeah.
And it makes sense, like I said, my mom brought this to my attention, and it was one of those that I never once thought about that, but she brought it to, and I was like, holy crap, you're right. Like,
Interesting.
in high school, like my best friend was, still is, like handyman, mechanic.
Oh, that's not you at all.
And that's the thing. But like best man at my wedding, like best friend. And then, but like in high school, I was in IB, and I had friends in International Baccalaureate. It's AP, but it's IB.
Oh, okay.
My school had IB, not AP classes.
Oh,
It's just another program.
gotcha.
But I was in that, and obviously had a lot of friends that were like academic driven, and friends that were, that were football players that I would hang out with on the weekends, but then would go over to Eric's house and work on cars with him. And, so like I was all over the place, and the same applies to college. And even now, like I have friends that are in so many different circles and networks that don't overlap.
Yeah.
But it's just because I've always gotten along with so many different people.
That's interesting.
And
I've said to you before, like it sounds offensive, but you're like really good at code switching. And like, I don't mean it to be offensive, but I've said it to you before, like when you're on like client calls, I struggle with being able to speak the corporate language. And like, you get on a call and you can speak the corporate language. I'm just like, how does this dude do this, man? Because I don't know. That's why I chat GPT to emails for a long time.
Yep.
I'll like speak this in corporate
Yeah.
tongue, So,
yeah,
and then you can come out of your office and be like, talking shit, and it's like, wow, how did he do this?
yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah, so that's the number one, is being able to connect with the person. I have taken some really interesting roundabouts to get to where I am, between corporate America, small production company, freelance life, movies, docs, commercial, having my own business, having other startup businesses that I was a part of, service, product-based, a lot of different avenues. And I think it's all kind of turned into this big melting pot of who I am and how I think and how I'm able to switch my brain from commercial talk to corporate talk to documentary talk to gear, nerd, to sports, to family. I have a lot of different interests, and I think in a lot of ways it benefits me. I mean, I can, and I have connected with people over sports. I grew up playing a lot of sports.
That's why I wear all the baseball hats.
Yeah.
I'm like, people will see me in, what hat am I wearing?
Your Orioles.
Orioles today.
Yeah.
And it's like, Baltimore, huh?
Huh.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I don't even know some version of it too. It's a throwback, not a throwback. Yeah.
But then that's like my way of just sparking conversation with people, is just like, or finding common interests. Now, if I wear a Yankees hat and I'm talking to a guy from Mass, we got a problem. But yeah, just like, I look for ways to start conversations with people, and try to meet them somewhere in the conversation. Because like, you can talk to someone about sports and have a great football conversation, but I don't know anything about football. So I try to like make them meet me somewhere.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. As soon as I find out what our commonality is, I'm in, and it's and that's the thing. It's authentic. Like, I legitimately like having those conversations. So if I'm having a conversation with someone about football, we're talking. Like,
And you think that can close a deal? Like,
it brings us closer as humans, as people, and I think yes, it does help in that facet. I mean, I can I know clients that have kids, and if their kid's about the same age as my son or my daughter, we have a commonality, and we can laugh about something. We can, is your little one doing this? Are they in this stage? Or One of
Like signing the paper. Yeah, so your kid's out of diapers too? Signed document. Let's go. Like, yeah.
so it's like
It makes sense. That is a part of what I was thinking.
and I think part of it is because I'm this like odd introverted extrovert. Heard this recently, or when I say recently, maybe last year, I heard this on a podcast that there's this like new line of thinking that it's no longer introverts and extroverts, right?
Yeah.
And there's a third category of introverted extroverts. And it's those that don't classify mostly as an introvert or mostly as an extrovert. They are 50-50 or 60-40 checking different boxes. And you're just like, well, you talk really well with people and make friends easily, but you don't go out on a Friday night and have no desire to go to the bar and have no interest in this, but you do this. So you check like 5 introvert boxes and 4 extrovert boxes. Like how like make it make sense.
Yeah.
And so when I heard that last year, I remember telling my wife, I was like, oh, fun thing that I just heard today. And I explained it to her and she was like, that's you. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. No, I was legitimately hearing them describe me to a T, and I was like, "Oh, that makes so." Because for years, anybody who's like, "Oh, you're an extrovert," and I'm like, "Haha, you don't know me. I am not. Yeah. No way." But I also could understand people believing that I was not an introvert. So, but yeah, there's a line of thinking of introverted extrovert.
I've never heard that before.
And
what am I? Now I'm having.
Oh, you're an extrovert. Don't even try me.
Reflection crisis right now.
Oh my God, you're the devil. You can go to any party, meeting, conference, event. 2 people could be standing at the corner at the stop sign, and you will walk up to them and start a conversation like that. You are an extrovert to a T.
I was talking to the homeless guy the other day, and I was just like having a great conversation with him, and then I was like, what the heck am I doing?
Yeah. You know what that was? Your extrovert was showing.
Like,
okay.
What is this?
No, and I can't do that.
It's a nice rig you got. That bike and that thing you got on it. And he's like, oh man, these wheels are like 20-inch this and that. I'm like, yeah, look at the spokes on that thing.
Yeah, you just had to have a conversation.
Like whole living rooms on the back of his bicycle.
Good for him though. But yeah, I struggle just like blindly walking up to a group and talking.
Oh. Can I tell you a story then?
Please.
So for the recent event at Visit Tampa Bay for the Top Golf event, I walked in and I was just looking. I had my sunglasses on. I was wearing my nice golf attire. I was ready to go, but I was looking around behind my shades and I was just like, is there anyone here that I know? Anybody? Like, because I'm looking for someone to make contact with right away.
Yep.
And I'm walking slowly trying to figure this out. And this guy looks at me and he's like, man, you look cool as hell right now. And I was like, what? He's like, you look super cool, man. Like, you look like you don't care and you're just here hanging out. And I shook his hand. I'm like, I'm glad you think that. Because I'm like, what am I doing right now? It's like, who the hell am I going to talk to at this very moment?
That's funny.
And here we are. And we just start shooting the shit and having a conversation. I was like, thank God someone saw me and was like, spark this. Because everybody has the moments, whether you're introverted or extroverted, where you go somewhere and you get like the butterflies, for lack of a better word, and you're like, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? How are these conversations going to go? I'm not, like, I kind of am an overthinker, but I can get over things really quickly. In that situation, I was just walking slow, looking around. Who am I going to talk to?
That's funny.
Fortunately, this guy stopped me for me.
Yep.
He might have been thinking the same thing.
I was say he hooked you up.
He might have been like,
he
this guy
got
looks
you.
Lost right
he's
now.
like, I got it. I got this guy. I got him.
Let me help this dude.
Yeah.
That's interesting because as far as like closing deals, that seems like almost subjective because that's not a hard, fast answer on like how you would close a deal.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying like I think there's more than one thing, right?
Yeah.
That's where the whole thing started with me saying I don't think it's just one thing.
Yeah.
I think that is a large component because us humans want human connection.
I think that's fair. I've been preaching that a lot lately too.
And I'm a big advocate for it. And look, it makes me more comfortable working with someone that I had a connection with because so I'm not just doing it as a sales tactic by any means. I'm doing it because
you're going to enjoy the work.
Yes,
to
I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to like doing this job with Johnny because we have XYZ also in common, and I love to create and I want to do this project for this organization, but also knowing that I'm doing it with someone who I have some semblance of commonality with. We're not going to just be on set the whole time, go through the pre-production process, production process, post-production process, and not get along with this person. That sounds equally as miserable.
Painful.
To not, like, in some ways, that's more painful than not getting the job.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool. I don't like this guy. I have nothing in common with him, and now I'm going to deal with him for the next 2 months, 3 months, however long the job is going to take. Oh, yay. Like,
that's a good point. I was just listening to a podcast where they were talking about signing deals and contracts and all this sort of stuff. Proposals was a big subject.
Yep.
And the woman who was on it was actually Chris Doe's event on LinkedIn. It wasn't a podcast. But the woman on it said, I've written, 15 proposals for this company, and I keep having to change things. It's getting very frustrating. What do I do? And this isn't about like making things fun to work together per se, but the guy said, hold on. How much money is this contract for? 15 proposals is a lot. She said $3,000. He's like, 15 proposals for $3,000? How long did it take you to write the proposal? She's like, well, let's just say I've put in, 13 days of making sure everything's right. And the guy's like, 13 days? You know how much money you could have made in 13 days? And he said, if it takes you this much effort to make the proposals, how do you think the work is going to be? So tell me the truth right now. Do you actually want this job?
No.
She's like, no, I guess I don't. And he's like, stop writing proposals. Like, leave the conversation.
That is not worth it.
Respectfully leave the conversation. Tell them this is, the last proposal I'm going to make. I'm going to need some sort of formal handshake on this, or you bring in your whole team to confirm it so we don't have to talk to all these different people and have these outer conversations to come to an agreement.
No way.
And he said, even then, are you going to want to do the job? And she said, no, I don't think so. Leave.
It's not worth it.
And it's
Heck
crazy.
no.
And it's like, what you're saying is you want to enjoy working with somebody. And imagine that,
No way. I'm out.
15 proposals.
I'm out quick. On a $3,000 job, you got me for 2 revisions on the proposal. Mm-hmm. After that, tell me to a T what you need. I will then rewrite it to those parameters, and I need a signature upon rewriting it to these parameters, again, to a T. I'll make the first revision, no big deal. Hey, something changes, that's fine. Second one, red flags. You ask for another one, we're not talking until you tell me, hey, make these 2, 3, 4, 5 changes, and we guarantee a signature upon making these changes. Outside of that, I'm out.
Yeah.
Not on a $3,000 job, no way. Time is money, and we all only have 24 hours in a day, and you're sleeping for part of those. Mm-hmm. All right. And you need to sleep. Mm-hmm. Some people can survive with, there's obviously a lot of line of thinking of like 7, 8, 9 hours. What do you actually need on a night to sleep? But like, you still got to sleep for part of that. You got to eat. You got to see your family. You only have so much working time you can provide. 15 change it and
something like that. It might have been 8 or something.
No, but even then,
that's way too much.
My point is, you're not even getting me for 8. You're getting me for 2.
You might get you for 8 if you're talking
50K. Yeah.
Yeah, let's work it out.
Yeah. Oh, and I've done that. I've gone back 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times on like big contracts because the larger contracts have the finer print. Hey, A causes
details,
B causes C causes D. Hey, stipulation on this, you can and cannot do this. Hey, we have a certain amount of crew members. The overtime number changes. The deliverables might adjust because of it go from a 3-day to a 2-day. Well, now we're not getting as much content. So we're not giving 8 deliverables, we're giving 7 now. Like, that's fine. But even then, like, after the second round of revisions on any contract, it does not matter if it's 50,000 or 3,000. I better have a serious gut feeling that the job is mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I feel like I'm just getting strung along, even on a 50K deal, If I feel like I'm getting strung along and they're using me as the case study to get someone else to sign,
Yeah.
you're using my numbers against me, I'm out. And I've bailed on a $20,000 job last year because after like the second, maybe third revision, my gut jumped out of me and was like, we're being used. Our proposal is being used against us. I asked one or two tough questions. Sure enough, didn't really get the answers I was liking. They were talking corporate, and I bailed. I was like, no, you're not using my numbers against me. Like, that's not happening. Because what was going to happen is I was going to do that. I was only going to help the competition, and we still weren't going to get the job.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. This is something I've been struggling with. The importance of the details versus the perfection paralysis. I don't even know how to put it. You can, in a proposal, is kind of what brought me to this part. You can do these 15 proposals, but you're paralyzed by making sure it's perfect. Even for a $50K job, let's say. Let's try to stick to that. Versus how important the details are. Because if you miss the details, you're going to mess up the job, right? So what are your thoughts on perfectionism and how that could be amazing or really hurt you? I had an argument with someone, you know about it, of me being like, I put so much content out there. For me to put 1,000 videos out and it be perfect on every one is like difficult. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like in bed and I'm like, could I get it perfect, everyone? Like, because the details are important. So what do you think about that?
I think the devil is in the details.
Mm-hmm.
I think perfection comes at a cost. And if that cost is not there, then the details need to be paid attention to. But you can't strive for details without the appropriate monetary element. That make sense?
No, explain.
Okay. I didn't think so. I had a feeling I kind of found myself talking in circles there.
I understood. Let me make that clear.
Okay.
I just want the viewers to understand.
Okay, fair enough. So perfection comes at a cost. That cost is going to be relative to what product or service you are providing, right? If you are getting if you're buying something from the discount shelf at a retailer, and it's the basics collection discount shelf, you just want it to fit. Let's say it's a t-shirt, right?
Yeah. Better believe this was in discount. Because I tried that.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't fit.
The details are there. It's going to be, quote unquote, the right size. It's going to be in the color you want. But it may not be fitted. It may not fit properly in all the right places, right? But if you pay triple that, you expect it to fit properly, for it to be fitted, for it to be the exact tone of the color you want. The better material. We're using a t-shirt as an example here.
That's a good one.
Same applies to services, right? If you are paying $2,000 versus $20,000, the $20,000 product or service, rather, the $20,000 service should be perfect or as close to perfect as possible, right? Now, granted, there's still going to be contractual obligations, you know, whether it's 2, 3, 4 rounds of revisions. Maybe you can't get it perfect in time. Maybe there's a deadline that restricts perfection, but you can get remarkably close. Enough that you can go to bed at night and go, holy crap, this is beautiful. I'm happy. And I can sleep well tonight.
Yeah. And then you wake up the next morning. I could have changed so much.
Exactly, right? But the $2,000 product, well, theoretically, they're getting a tenth of what the $20,000 product is getting.
Sure.
You know, tenth of the crew, tenth of the time, tenth of the resources. Should the details still be there? 100%. Mm-hmm. Logo, branding, like, you know, some basic elements need to be right. Again, basic versus the fitted.
Right.
the details are the devil's in the details for a reason. Like you do need to pay attention to the details. If you are providing a product or conducting a service, you're doing that because you're detail oriented in some capacity. You're wanting your business to survive.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to survive if you don't get the details right. But perfection comes at a cost.
Yes. Because my like motto the last year or so has been like 80% ship it. Like you don't have to get to 100%. In a lot of situations you don't, but a lot of them you do.
Yep.
So I've been like finding myself in situations where when I'm striving for the perfection, I'm finding myself procrastinating at the same time, or like having an issue with getting something launched. So you'll, let's say you've got like 50 short videos to get out and something's wrong somewhere along the lines, somewhere in the copy or like a simple edit or something along those lines. And then someone gets wind of it and says, halt, stop, this is wrong. We need to check everything. And I understand that because you missed the detail, you are the reason that the pause is happening. It's not on anyone else. It's on you, like extreme accountability. But in order to put a lot of things out and get a lot of content going, I've been able to do that because I went by the 80% good, ship it. And this is me looking for counseling from viewers right now. It's the balancing act, you know, of get it all right. I can't see myself just basing it off of like a dollar value. You know, like if this is a 50K, you're going to get all the perfection versus if you're a 5K, you're going to get less perfection because there's less time. I'm kind of stuck in this mental space right now where you're like all in or all out, you know?
Yeah. And that's a tough place to be because there's the creative block is what I think that is.
Yeah.
Now, the $5,000 job or service or whatever the case may be still could be perfect for that product or service, but it's just going to be a different layer of perfection. I think that the details are remarkably important. We're all human, but, you know, spelling should be done properly. Captions should be done properly. You know, making sure the right color in a font is done, the correct font for the branding's done. Like those
Name spelling.
You know, like
You got a bad taste in your mouth if someone spells your name wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone remembers being a kid getting a trophy with the misspelled name on it. There's nothing you could do about it.
Yep.
You just had to take that home and suck it up.
Yep, there it is. So you know, it's just those are the details that matter, and I mean, you need to pay attention to them. That's how you're gonna have a good basis for growing your business, is by paying attention to the details. Perfection comes at a cost, and I don't mind your 80% rule for the most part, with the understanding that you kind of have to eyeball where is the final 20% needed to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going to put more time into, like our company's going to put more time into making sure the documentary is perfect rather than the trailer being perfect.
Interesting.
Okay. The trailer could be 80, 90%. We just put out 2 trailers for 2 docs that we're working on. And I would say we'll split the difference and say I am 85% happy on both, on the trailers. Mm-hmm. But I expect to be 100% happy on the full docs, because that's what people are going to remember those documentaries for, is watching the whole piece. People aren't going to remember the trailer. The trailer catches the attention. I'm using a TSM example, right? Like that's what I'm just.
My mind's just stuck on bad trailers. When you're in the theater, like, nope, not gonna see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be good.
They gave away the whole plot.
Oh,
Can't watch this now.
No, seriously, I don't watch. Did you know about this about me? Is I don't watch full trailers.
No, I didn't know.
Okay, if I'm on Netflix, I'm on Hulu, Apple, whatever, Amazon, and I'm watching a trailer to see if I want to watch it. We just did it this past weekend with my parents, okay? We were watching a trailer.
Oh, you just wait for the moment to click. The lightning strikes,
click,
and you're like, I'm in.
I'm in, and I click away, and my dad normally has no issues when I did it, but that trailer he was really attached to.
Oh, really?
And he was like, I wanted to finish it. I was like, it was gonna ruin it. Yes or no? Are we watching this movie? And he was like, well, yeah, I want to watch it. And I'm like, exactly. I don't watch trailers start to finish. I don't, because I've had too many movies spoiled because trailers give too much away.
I have to watch the end of the trailer.
Oh, I can't. I don't have to. I'm out. 50%.
That's probably why I don't watch a lot of movies, because I watch a lot of trailers.
Yep.
I'm like, by the end of it, it's really, I've made my decision. Like,
yep. I'm
not gonna watch it.
I've been spoiled by trailers, and I'm just like, I think a lot of movie trailers are done improperly, in my opinion, and I think they give too much away. They're trying to bring up this hype and have the next box office hit, but in reality, they're showcasing too much. Mm-hmm. The whole point is to hook you to watch, not to hook you and spoil it simultaneously.
Show you the ending.
I'm
Sometimes
like,
show you the ending.
I'm like, how does this work? Like, oh, clearly the protagonist is gonna get, caught because this one moment in the trailer shows them getting caught.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah, I hate it. Well, let's go back a little bit.
All right, deal.
So, you know of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule?
Because of you, yes.
Oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that. So, like, 80% of the work, 20% of the work will yield 80% of the results. And I'm probably mixing things up just to make myself feel better. But that's also where I get this ship it at 80% thing.
Okay.
Because that, to me, that last 20% of you finishing something up can take away a lot of the creativity. Because naturally, it's the revisions is the last 20%. Mm-hmm. It's making sure the client is going to be really happy. Clients, just so you know, I'm not the editor. So you don't have to worry about this for me. But that I live for that creativity of putting something together, getting out there, letting people see it, and then seeing what people say. I love negative comments. I love them probably more than positive ones, because I've always looked at conversations with people as tell me what's wrong so I can make improvements. So even when I say I do this 80% ship it thing, and then you would say, well, you need to figure out how to make it better. You kind of, in some cases, need to get to the 100%. The devil's in the details. But my 80% shifts because I look at it as iterative, right? I just told you how I got in an argument with somebody about, something not being so perfect. And my brain goes, we put so much out, but then can it be perfect? Is that possible? That might be possible. So that iterative change happens where now my 80% before shipping is better than it was previously. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And
then within that, if we put 100 pieces of content out, it's really going to be 20% of it that makes the big shift. So that other stuff, this is where I get stuck in my loop. Well, the other 80% didn't really matter, did it? Is there a flaw in that? Well, it didn't really matter because this didn't get seen, but this, everybody loves this. I like saying stuff where it leaves you with nothing to say.
Oh, I have. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Well, in today's day of quantity over quality, I think
we talked about this.
Right? I was going to say on this podcast, right? Several episodes ago.
Yeah.
I think the quality component has come back. The storytelling. That's what it was. We were talking about how storytelling was lost within social media for a little while there. And I believe it's coming back / is back.
I think it's back. Yeah.
But that comes with quality, right? If you're going to take the time to make the story proper, then the quality, you're paying attention to the quality. I stick with and will double down on the devil's in the details, but you pay for perfection. I do believe we put out a lot of projects.
I'm going to steal that line.
There's a lot of products that we put out that whether we view it or the client views it or the public views it as perfection. Like, it was great, love it. You know, everyone's going to have their objective opinion. Maybe 1, 2, 5 people say it's not perfect, whatever, so be it, right? But there was more time and energy and effort put into it to make it perfect rather than just adequate. The details, though...
Adequate, that's a hard word.
The details, though, are what you have to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. You can't be having spelling mistakes. You can't be having improper font. You can't be selling a shirt as a medium when in reality it's a large.
Yeah.
Like, the details are, for product or service, doesn't matter. Just pay attention to the details and you'll get somewhere in your industry.
Yeah.
I do believe it. I really do. A lot goes into being a business owner, whether it's product or service space that you're at. But if you pay attention to the details, you can live in whatever realm you want to live in, whether it's a boutique or high end, mass volume, whatever the case may be, right? But pay attention to the details, and that's going to be one heck of a step forward for you.
Speaking of details, the details in Sora video is absolutely atrocious, but it's the worst it's ever going to be. We talked about this off air, and
it made you mad.
It made me mad, so I want to bring it up because it could be good conversation for the podcast. I brought a video to you that was made with Sora. It was a short film.
The balloon one.
Airheads, I think is what it was called. And I thought it was incredible.
And it was.
Incredible. Did I send you the BTS of it?
Mm-hmm. That's how I saw it first.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that first when I was mad, and then I saw it, and it definitely shifted everything for me. But overview of Sora, it's like you just need brief explanations. It's text-to-video generation. It's like the cutting edge in AI, renders graphics. It can damn near do like Pixar style because it has it to base it off of. It can make short films. I don't know about long-form, full feature-length movies, but I think it's wildly beneficial to creators, and it opens the floodgates for it lowers a threshold for people to get into the industry. And I think you're going to have a lot more inexperienced people, new, young people, just blowing the doors off this whole thing. Because let's say, we're both 30. I'm making you look younger than you are. I'm making myself look old. I'm 29, 30. When we're 50, your kids, if you weren't the parent you are, your kids would be growing up building AI stuff and inside of the MetaQuest 3 and making Sora videos. They will be wildly better than we would have been by the time they're 20. You know what I'm saying? And I think not now, not in 5 years, not necessarily in 10 years, but once that generation comes through, our gen's done. Like, what are we going to have to offer at that point when they can just create anything they want straight from imagination? We can't think something and make it without tons of money and effort. At some point, they'll be able to think something and make it with little to no effort. Commercials, campaigns. YouTube's got a feature on it now where it's not mandatory for some reason, but it asks you to answer, is this AI content?
I think it is mandatory now.
It's, as of yesterday, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think we're screwed. But you think we're not. Yeah. Even in 20 years, you think we're straight.
I mean,
that's a long time in the future.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think we will adapt adequately and appropriately. Your context to me the other day was, are you scared or afraid? How can you not be?
How can you not be?
And I stand by my answer. I'm not afraid.
But how can you not be?
I'm not scared of this. I think it will. I know it legitimately made you mad. I think.
You know why it makes me mad? Because I'm worried for you. Because, like I said, and I asked you to read the book about it, is that you survive off of paranoia. And for you to not be afraid or worried about it, I'm like, they're going to kill this man.
It contradicts that book that you read. Yeah. Look, I'm constantly wondering and thinking through business development ideas, business growth changes within not only our industry, but within TSM, right? Have conversation with you, Ryan, Brittany at various times about, thinking this, thinking that, what about this, thought about this. I have some confidants outside of TSM that I talk to as well, and gather as much information as I can and work to materialize the next steps. When it comes to Sora, I'm not afraid of it. Do I legitimately think it will be integrated into our workflow and into filmmaking over the course of the next 5-10 years? Yes, 100%. I'm not naive to the fact of what this is. Like, it will change filmmaking. I just don't think it's going to destroy filmmakers. I just don't. There's been so many changes throughout our industry in the last 25 years.
Okay, Sam, what are they?
I mean,
you're gearing me up for a counterpoint right
yeah,
now.
We've had change from tape to 720, 1080, 4K, 8K. We're up to 12K with cameras.
So from tape to 12K.
Yep.
The tape guys don't exist anymore. Like, there's a population of those guys that wouldn't switch over because they thought that 4K, 12K, whatever, was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You still have some film things being made, mm-hmm. but on the mass scale, you're...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's also plenty of tape guys that are still around operating at the highest level and continuing to absolutely kill it in the filmmaking game. Carrie Buck is one of them up in Tampa. That man is still shooting great commercials out in the field. Film?
Yeah.
No, he's on digital.
No, I'm saying who's out there performing on the high level on film.
I'm not saying that they're still on film. I'm saying that they came up.
Okay.
And they...
I misunderstood. I apologize.
Okay. No, I mean, because over the course of your career, you have to adapt. Mm. And you're right. There's going to be hundreds of tape operators 25 years ago that are not in the field anymore because they didn't adapt. Whether they were afraid or paranoid, who knows? Got to get one of them on the podcast to ask them, right?
That's a good idea.
But whether they are or not is, I mean, in my opinion, it's irrelevant. I know that Sora is going to change the game. Am I afraid of that? No. I stand by my answer from what you asked me the other day. Will it need to be integrated into our workflow in some capacity over the next 1, 2, 5 years? Yes, it will. We will have to utilize Sora and AI generation, text imagery. These are all things that are going to change filmmaking, commercial making, whatever word you want to use, right?
I should have asked you this before. Are you not afraid because you know you're going to use it?
Now we're thinking. I'm not afraid because I know I'm going to have to use it. And it's a matter of...
Do you want to use it?
Today, no. No, I don't have any interest in using it today. Will it be something that I start dabbling with this year? Yes.
They said it probably won't come out for like 5 years.
Sora?
Yeah.
Oh, well, 5 years I'll use it then. I don't know, man. I just, my first year in college, we were still using tape. And my senior year in college, 3D was the next new thing, 3D cameras, and it was the next new hot commodity, and Avid was making another push to the professional consumer, and none of those things ended up hitting. Blackmagic came out with a 12K camera. I've never,
Remember that.
literally have never seen it out in the wild. I've never been on set with the Blackmagic 12K camera.
I'm pretty sure YouTube had 6 and 8K features before they got rid of that.
Probably.
Because there's no reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's an apples to apples comparison, but what I am saying is all these AI generated components that we're being absolutely inundated with in the last 12 months, some are going to stick and some are going to die. That's just how it is. Allowing time to tell us which happens is the best asset we have. Let the day-to-day operations come and go. You'll start seeing the ones that are useful, chat, to the ones that are not so useful. And even then, there are plenty of things that chat is not useful for, i.e. emails. All right.
Yet.
Maybe it changes, but I don't think it's going to ever get to that point.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little naive to say ever, but like within a reasonable amount of time. How about that?
It's the counter argument to chat is just that it doesn't have the human touch. Everybody knows this. I know this. I've experienced it. You get the ick. I get it. My fear of like the AI video, it goes into a lot of what's happening with TikTok and Instagram is your preference changes to the algorithm. And you get, I don't know how to say it. You get brainwashed into liking a certain type of content. Like TikTok came out, everything is TikTok now.
Correct.
Instagram's TikTok, Facebook's TikTok. LinkedIn has a TikTok feature coming soon. Everything's TikTok. So when everything becomes AI content, what I'm worried about is that your preference will no longer be the human touch. It will be the AI content. And if your preference changes, then there's nothing you can do, right? There's a reason, people have the hats make videos horizontal again. But nobody really wants it horizontal because they're stuck loving the vertical content. It's the dopamine receptors, right? The horizontal content doesn't really do that for you, except for Mr. Beast, the GOAT. But that's what I'm worried about. It's not necessarily the barrier of entry, which I think is crazy. When iPhones came into the picture and people could just film as a kid. Think about this. This is the first time in history that your kids you can film your kids and they can watch it back right away. When we got filmed as kids, you didn't see it.
Nope.
For like weeks or a month or whenever the video got developed. So it's just your brain chemistry changes. That's ultimately what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
And
it's a valid concern. Completely understand it. I mean, I guess part of it is that I'm confident in being able to adapt. Obviously, I hope I adapt on the front end and be one of the first to some semblance of an adaptation. But even if I'm second or third in line, I know I can adapt and we will be able to keep on going. Sora is going to change everything. Not arguing otherwise. Am I afraid of it? No, I am not.
I couldn't scare tactic you into this.
Nope.
That's good.
No.
Good.
I'm
Sounds like a good leader.
Yeah, I'm good. I keep an eye on it. I would love to have the opportunity to use it and test it and play around with it 100%. You get me a code to use it and make something, I'm in.
If I get that code, I'm not giving it to you. I'm gonna be like, you're never gonna see me again. I'm gonna be locked in. Just like Sora. It's a one-time use. You can't use it. It's mine. Yeah. Okay. I guess when I was like frustrated about the whole thing, not once did I think you wanted to use it.
No.
I thought you were against it.
No, I'm for it. I just think there's going to be a time and a place. I think there's going to be. I mean, watching that BTS of that Airheads, like the guy said, he was like, it messed things up. We had to get involved.
Yeah,
and
real deal editors had to fix things and like track balloons onto this guy's head and wipe the original image. And
Yeah, which
make it transparent.
it's unfortunate that they didn't just put out what Sora created.
Because it is a little bit of a catch-22.
Oh, it's in my opinion, it's false advertising to Sora.
Yeah.
What Sora can currently do.
That's very true.
All right, I legitimately think it's false advertisement. And
I think we have a case.
right? They should have put out the true version, and maybe it's out and I just didn't see it. But the true version should be released. This is what Sora created. This is the short film. This is what we were able to make. In a way, that's still going to be very impressive.
That would be.
But unfortunately, it's going to put Sora it's going to look bad at the same time.
Probably told by OpenAI you can't do this, because that would be their, like, they need to do that for filmmakers who are afraid to say, hey man, you're good right now, like, or to really outline the roles that you'll really need to have
Post.
Because without the editors, they wouldn't have that good video.
Yeah. There was a lot of VFX that still took place to get it right.
Yeah.
And
they're doing a disservice to filmmakers by not. I mean, they put the BTS, but.
Which, I mean, the BTS was great just to see, like, oh,
you
wow.
got a glimpse of it, yeah.
Like, the balloon's here, and there's, like, no face.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, the balloon needed to go here.
Yeah.
Like, their editor did a great job. Absolute phenomenal job, like, cleaning it up. It's not there yet. It's gonna be amazing when all the kinks are worked out. But I do think the human element is gonna be needed for the foreseeable future.
I think we can end on that.
Cool.
I was gonna try to keep arguing, but we don't need to. All right, man. Another good episode.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, everybody.